Listener, you probably know by now that we live in Oklahoma, which is a deeply red state with a Republican supermajority. That means that we have a Republican governor and both houses of Congress and a conservative state Supreme Court. And what's happening in these states post-Trump era is they are already enacting Project 2025. It's already happening. And Oklahoma, depending on which stat you look at, is ranked either 49th or 50th in education. It is ranked 50th for the well-being of women in the country. Both of those, listener, are dead last. And this is what Republican supermajority policies give the people. Also, I believe they really start the propaganda machine with the public, and you see a voting public that is voting against their best interest. For some reason, unbeknownst to me, the citizens of Oklahoma elected the biggest nut on the planet as superintendent of school. We've done episodes about him 2 or 3 months ago. His name is Ryan Walters. He is a full-blown Christian nationalist. He is a full-blown Trump sycophant. He is superintendent of public schools who also wants to dismantle the Department of Education.
Correct.
But just to give you a little flavor for the level of nut that we're dealing with here, here's a most recent clip.
We're going to make an important announcement today regarding the Bible and the Ten Commandments. My staff has been looking at Oklahoma statute. We've been looking at Oklahoma academic standards. And it's crystal clear to us that in the Oklahoma academic standards, under Title 70, multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country, to have a complete understanding of Western civilization, to have an understanding of the basis of our legal system, and is frankly, when we're talking about the Bible, one of the most foundational documents used for the Constitution and the birth of our country. We also find major points in history that refer to the Bible, that reference the Bible. So we will be issuing a memo today that every school district will adhere to, which is that every teacher, every classroom in the state will have a Bible in the classroom and will be teaching from the Bible in the classroom to ensure that this historical understanding is there for every student in the state of Oklahoma in accordance with our academic standards and state law.
Okay, that is not an SNL skit. That was filmed in 2024. Mm-hmm. And this man is on the record prior to this, grandstanding on Fox News or OAN. We are going to remove porn from all Oklahoma classrooms. Spoiler alert, there is no porn in Oklahoma classrooms. But by his logic, if he wants to remove porn and pornographic material from the classroom, the Bible has a story in it where a couple of daughters get their dad drunk and they get him all liquored up and then they have sex with him. That's in the Bible. And so first and foremost, this is a complete violation of the Constitution. It's just performative religiosity at its highest. But here's what's so interesting about this. So he's demanded the Bible go in every classroom because he's a full-blown Christian nationalist. So the description of the Bibles that have to be purchased, listener, they have to purchase 55,000 Bibles, but the state's strict requirements demanded by Superintendent Ryan Walters coincidentally don't match any Bible in the world except for one, the Trump Bible.
I'm not even remotely surprised. I think he's auditioning to be a part of Trump's second administration. He is the walking embodiment of what Project 2025 looks like in schools. He has refused to release federal funding for schools into Oklahoma school districts. He is terribly racist. He is anti-woman. He is misogynistic. I mean, everything bad that you can think of he's right there. He's
Don't
your
forget
picture.
this. Don't forget this, Pumps. Remember when he appointed the founder of the Libs of TikTok? The girl who runs the Libs of TikTok, he founded her to be on the library board of the state of Oklahoma. She has no qualifications to do any of this. And he grandstands around on, owning the Libs TikTok. And we've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I think he protests too much about a bunch of stuff. I've never seen anybody in public office talk so frequently about porn.
Right.
When he's not talking about the Bible, he talks about porn and transgender people nonstop, 24/7, 365. And we're ranked 49th and or 50th in education. He thinks the Bible's going to come in and pull through in the clutch and raise the education level in this state?
What do you think about he's part of the wanting to dumb down the electorate?
Of course he wants to dumb down the electorate. I mean, it's so, number one, it's unconstitutional.
Right.
Number two, it violates the rights of people that believe different ways. School needs to be a place that is completely secular, especially publicly funded schools. And we need to have objective truths in the school. And, it's just going to add a lot of problems for people when you're studying biology, but then you have to go study the Bible. I mean, this is, in my opinion, a lot of these people, the problem is they haven't critically thought, and then they end up in Trumpism. And here he is trying to suppress critical thinking, and he uses fear tactics to get everybody on board. There's porn in school and blah, blah, blah. We both went to Oklahoma public schools. There was no porn in the schools.
No, there's no porn in the schools.
None. It's just, this is what, for those of you that live in swing states that are kind of thinking, and if you're undecided, I don't understand that. But if maybe you only engage in politics right before an election, this is what MAGA Republican policies look like come to fruition. If you are not a religious person, if you are Jewish, and I want to also say if you're Catholic, because this brand of evangelical Christianity that he is, they're the recruiting ones. Catholics don't go out and recruit people. This is a particular sect of Christianity that is the prosperity gospel. This is the mega church gospel, where they rope you in to take your money and scare the shit out of you 24/7, 365. This is a cult, and a grifting one at that, as you can see how it's connected to the other grifting cult, Trumpism. So if you're anything except for a fully blown indoctrinated megachurch attendee, this is not for you. And that is a small minority of the population. But I think it's over 80-something% of them all support Trump. Now in Oklahoma, we have a lot of evangelical Christians. And so they've been scared into thinking they need to do this. Listener, this is insanity. This is complete insanity. And of course, it's exposed as a grift to somehow fund their dear leader.
What's interesting about Ryan Walters is he overdoes it on the porn. He overdoes it on the gay. I always question when somebody is megaphoning that. But what I also think it's really important to point out, it's Christian nationalism, and it is inherent racism. This is not a man that gives a flying fuck about your brown or marginalized child. He wants to shove religion down your neck, and he wants to tie it up in a bow that it's constitutional. This tells you how dumb he is. He doesn't know anything about the Constitution or the separation of church and state. And I just want to say that Republican elected leaders are appalled by this behavior, but they're pussies. They will not. The Speaker of the House said you have to have 50 people sign on for an investigation into this man. And behind the scenes, they were saying, we need to investigate him, but only 33 people would come out publicly because they're more interested in their own power, and they're more interested in themselves and not children. And Ryan Walters is a zit on the ass of humanity.
I want to just push back on one thing. If you are appalled by something, you don't relent. And I think that the fact that he keeps escalating and he keeps escalating and he keeps escalating, and now we've got taxpayers, our money that we pay here, buying Trump Bibles to put in publicly funded schools in Oklahoma. It's performative on the Republicans' part. They never fix the broken people within them. They could have fixed Trump. They didn't do it. They didn't impeach him. They could get rid of Ryan Walters. They don't do it. They don't impeach him. It is casual lip service. What did we do when Biden had a bad debate? And we can see that he's aged. God love him, consequential president. He is gone. I don't trust anybody, quite frankly, that has the moral conscience to vote Republican right now, because they don't. The call is coming from within and they never do anything. Never.
It's hard to argue with that.
All right. Have a great weekend.
It's so